What do you think of hero bans? I actually had you know the truth that Zoe said? I think that was, I was talking to Zoe about it. We were having a text chat. And we were sort of talking about it. And because she's pretty against hero bans, and I like hero bans. I think hero bans would be really good for the game. Her argument is that, is the same though a lot of people, is people think like the same heroes would be banned every time. And I go, I don't think so. Like, I don't think that would ever happen. I think it would not, is not in the team's best interest to keep banning the same thing over and over again. And she's like, oh, but if something's broken, then everyone's just going to ban it. I'm like, it's not always in a team's best interest to ban the most broken thing. Maybe they want to play it. Maybe they want to force the other team to ban it and stuff like that. The whole point of hero bans, and what I say every time, I think the fact that one tricks exist. GG's, guys.
Custa OP, dude.
The thing about it is, I think the people who are like only good at one character are like shouldn't exist in a game like Overwatch with like 30+ characters. If you ban the same hero every game, though, you have the same problem you're talking about, where it feels like it's the same game every time. But so here's my point: you would never see the same heroes banned every time. All right, so let's go. Let's use an example here. My camera's in the way, but these are the characters that we have. And we have goats, right? Let's say we're going back to goats meta, something that everyone knows and loves, okay? If you want to ban goats, I think probably one of the best things you can do, let's ban Xayah, okay? Team 1 wants to ban Xayah because they don't want to play goats. Team 2 also doesn't want to play goats, I guess, because they both think goats is boring and unfun. So, the other team bans, I don't know, fucking, what, Brig. Okay, so we have Brig and Xayah banned. I think we can all agree that goats doesn't exist anymore. They play the game. There's no Xayah, there's no Brig. They're going to play double shield. Okay, let's just go that we're in this thing. They're going to go like Orisa. Well, actually, let's say they go dive. Just for argument's sake, they go dive. Okay, Team 1 wins after playing dive. Why would it ever be in Team 2's best interest to ban goats again if you just lost to dive? So you can't be dive, but you ban goats. So what happens then is Team 2 goes, okay, well this time we're not going to ban Brig. So we go into the next match. Team 1 bans Xayah. Team 2 bans Wrecking Ball. Because the other team, you're playing against Chengdu and the other team has like a really good Wrecking Ball. So all of a sudden, if they want to play dive again, they got to do it without a Wrecking Ball, or they can find some way of pseudo-goatsing without Xayah. So then, just by changing the fact of like one team lost, so therefore they don't ban a singular character, it changes the way the map works next time, because especially if you're doing it map-to-map basis, if you lose to something, you're more likely to ban what you just lost to than ban what you originally thought was thing. Just because goats is broken, like, back then, with the banning system, doesn't mean that teams aren't going to want to play it. Because they're good at goats. So, what's going to happen is teams are going to feel like, teams that are bad at goats are going to have to consistently ban a goats character, but the teams that are good at goats and want to play goats wouldn't ban it. They would ban something else that they think the other team wants to move towards. So, especially, like, if I'm playing against Chengdu, I don't care what the fuck is broken. I'm banning Wrecking Ball. Like, if I sub in Pine, does the other team ban Widow immediately? Yeah, probably. But that's the point, is you shouldn't have a play like players like Pine. If in this mode, players like Pine wouldn't exist because no one wants a Widow one trick. Like in the games, Widow was fun when it was happening, right? But for the competitive nature of the game, we don't want just someone who can only play Widow in the game. I don't think that's good for Overwatch. I think that is bad for Overwatch. You don't want one tricks in the game. All you need to do is learn a second hero in your same role. Exactly, right? Like, all you need to do is have something that if this gets banned, I played this. Pine can still play the heroes. That's what I mean. Like, I'm using Pine as, like, the metaphor of, like, encapsulating one tricks, because that's, a lot of people think Pine is just, like, only Widow and Specialist. But the value that you have, if you, let's say, like, let's use that example as well. Pine can play McCree, Pine can play Hitscan, he can play other things, right? But if Pine goes in the game, the team then goes, do we let the Widow through and let Pine play Widow, or do we ban something that's actually overpowered right now or broken, or something that their team is really good at that isn't Pine on Widow? So you have this like meta of you have to make a decision on who you want to ban. And that is why I think there is value, and I don't think you would ever see the same thing just continuously ban, because for the winning team, it is in your best interest to just keep banning whatever you've been banning. But if you are the losing team, it is not in your best interest to just keep banning the same thing, because you're not going to win. And you're going to see more team identities come out. I think there'd be really cool stats about like things that you're good against, things that you're bad against, and that kind of stuff. And I can tell you, as a professional player, there are things as your team identity that you know you're good at playing against and things that you know you're bad at playing against. And that changes between teams. And that's why you see so much fluctuations in teams based on metas, because some teams are good at playing against some things. Some teams are bad at playing against some things. So, and I think what you would see is you'd see a lot more team identity coming out with hero bans, because you feel like you wouldn't be locked into playing the same thing over and over again because the same meta is existing. I don't know what Blizzard is planning on rolling out, but I hope it does something that stops that. If there is something of hero bans coming out, I hope it's under this format, because I think it's good for the game. Because the reason I think Overwatch is losing viewership over time is that every game feels like you're watching the same games. You don't even really need to change the names at the top of the two teams playing. And what happens is, instead of seeing changes in strategy, which is interesting and fun, as a spectator for Overwatch, you're seeing the same game, and what you have to watch for, and as a spectator, is the minor intricacies that exist when two teams are playing the exact same strategy all the time, always. And that is why, like, that is what Overwatch needs to encapsulate, because that's what makes Dota great. That's what makes League of Legends great, is that you almost never see the same game twice. Because of how many heroes there are. Yeah, I know League like has like a ton, like a small meta of heroes for everything. But you still see, like, they lose one match, well, they ban that the next time.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and check out the channel for more gaming content.